Grayskull.
I have the power.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek, Kevin. Joining me as always is Mikey the Freak.
What's up?
And the dude, Steve.
What's going on,
Dude.
man? That's
Today-
just like your opinion, man.
Today we're going to be reviewing the movie Masters of the Universe. But before we get into that movie, let's check out that trailer.
Oh, yes,
Let's. Shall we?
Oh, yes.
Let's do it.
Yes, we shall. We definitely shall.
Shall we?
Yes, we
Shall
shall.
we? Let's do it.
We shall. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Let's
I
make
think
it
it's
happen.
great. Let's look at that trailer, shall we?
Yes, here we go.
Amateurs. Orion.
End of the universe, there is a planet ruled by a being of utter evil. There is only one man who dares challenge him.
They went to the
They are
stormtrooper
locked in a
training.
battle to the death.
They did. They were terrible
Across
shots.
the heavens. Stop him! A battle that will finally be fought. I want them hunted down and brought to me. Across the face
Police! Nobody
Pawn
of
shot.
Earth.
Slackers!
Slackers!
Bunch of
That's what I
slackers.
wanted to say. I wanted to say, eat lead, slacker!
Can you show us the way?
No.
Eat lead splackators.
Somebody help me!
You Bojo, those boards don't work on water.
You have to have power.
Julie!
From a distant galaxy, they have come to Earth. Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. Frank Langella as Skeletor. Only they have the powers to be
That's it.
masters of the universe. Live the adventure.
The motion picture.
Live the adventure.
Spaceballs.
Live the
Spaceballs,
adventure,
the
they
motion
say.
picture.
Live
Live
the
it.
adventure, they say.
You must live it. So, Mikey the Freak, why don't you tell us a little bit more about this
I don't think-
movie?
I don't think I will. So IMDb, the heroic warrior He-Man battles against the evil Lord Skeletor and his armies of darkness for control of Castle Grayskull. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. That's pretty much it. Now, so I've got a bunch of topics to talk about, but I never. Bearded Geek, you were a huge He-Man fan in the
I was.
80s, 90s when we were little. I
80s.
never really watched it much.
Definitely 80s.
I think you like She-Ra also, which She-Ra
I did.
was good.
I did.
Yeah, we always had to find the little character at the end. But yeah, I always thought I never really understood. I knew it was medieval with like Conan the Barbarian, but I didn't think it had like guns and lasers at the same time. I missed that.
I think that they had them. I'm trying to reach back into the memory banks. I know there's Man at Arms, so I'm guessing they had to have had lasers and stuff in the show. Funny enough, I believe that the cartoon was made that the action figures were made before the cartoon on He-Man. The action figures were based. The cartoon was based on the action figures.
That's lame.
I didn't know. That's pretty cool. Fun fact, if that's the case. It's always the merchandise comes after the animation or after the movie type deal. So, but yeah, I mean, the movie was all over the place. I mean, you kind of
all over the place.
all over the place.
I guess.
You kind of understood, like, you're trying to, like, nowadays, okay, now that you've watched He-Man back then and you're trying to watch the show now and the movie now, you kind of know what's going on with Evil Lyn and
yeah.
He-Man You know, and then Skeletor, and they're battling to try to take over Grayskull, basically, right? But it's terrible. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was not good. Evil Lynn, that is the sort. That is
Evelyn,
yeah.
which was Evelyn. Evelyn,
So
Evelyn.
who's good,
Yeah.
Lynn?
There is no good
Her,
Lynn.
that's the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
Her
But-
other sister.
Ugh.
But yeah, it was.
Linda.
I mean, I like the character. Character. I love Billy Barty in this movie. He did have some comedic spots with the fried chicken. I thought that was a funny little scene with the fried chicken. He's holding out for the food because they were looking for food also, and he was going on his own.
This is me. This was an animal.
And
It
they stopped
tasted
eating it.
good.
When
Yeah.
they told it, when he told him, Man at Arms told him that it was a mammal, or was an actual used to be an animal. They're just like, oh,
It's a rib bone. They're like, why did they put this meat on sticks? It's a rib bone.
It's a rib bone.
So did they not eat animals? Maybe
I
where they're
guess
from
not.
on their planet.
On Eternia, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I don't know.
I know Man at Arms.
I've never.
He was going to town on it.
I've never been to Eternia, so I couldn't properly answer that question.
Yeah.
I was there last week, but I didn't eat anything.
Gotcha.
Just popped in for a quick visit.
It's been an eternity since I've been.
Has it? Terrible. So terrible. So yeah, I mean, and then James Tolkien, you know, is in this movie, and I'll go over that a little bit later. But
you say a little bit later, like it's not going to be 4 minutes from now.
It could be maybe 6.5 minutes. So I'll let everybody else talk to their stuff.
You talked about this movie longer than I expected you to.
Yeah. All right, dude. What do you think of this movie?
Well, I made it like 30 minutes into this movie, and I went, I'm good.
So you never watched it in the 80s when it came out?
I probably did. I remember it from when I was a child, because my cousin David was a huge He-Man fan. So we watched it because of that. I remember the snake face guy. I remember Billy Bartley. When I think of He-Man, I think more of the "What's Going On" meme.
Yeah.
And so I wake in the morning and I step outside. I think of that more than I think of Masters of the Universe.
This movie, I have seen this.
What about you?
This is not a He-Man movie. This is not a He-Man movie. They have the character names somewhat of He-Man, but there's no Orko.
He's like a little ghost guy. It's what my cousin David dressed up as for Halloween one year. He dressed up as Orca. Orca.
The Billy Bartley guy, it was like a cheap replacement of an Orko.
Yeah, because they didn't have the CGI to do Orko then.
I agree,
That's
but
true.
there was no Cringer, there was no Battle Cat, there was no Panthro.
Panthro, isn't that Thundercats?
Not Panthro.
No, you're talking about
Panther.
You're talking about Skeletor's cat.
Yeah,
Skeletor's cat. Yes.
Panther. Yeah. This movie could have been made so much better, but it was not.
80s.
And it took place mostly on Earth. Come on, guys! If you're gonna make a He-Man movie, keep it on Eternia, for crying out loud. Have a good Castle Grayskull. Have a good Snake Mountain. Have Cringer and Battle Cat and all that stuff. This was garbage. They had the names. The only good thing about this whole movie was Skeletor. Skeletor's acting in this, I think, was really good. He brought life to Skeletor. He made Skeletor more. The
makeup definitely didn't do him any justice.
No, the makeup was terrible. Everybody's makeup in the movie was terrible.
Yeah, but he was
the mouth never moved.
He was the best actor in this whole movie. He gave life to Skeletor when this whole movie had no life. It was garbage.
Remember, you can't spell slaughter without laughter. Until next time. Ha ha!
I love those memes. I love those memes. Mikey the Freak, let's get into ratings on this movie. How would you rate it?
Wow. It's going to be a solid 2. I can't do anything else.
Two.
It's probably one of the lowest one of the lowest movies I think that we've rated. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not a He-Man movie. I remember the cartoon. There were so many more characters they could have done. Even in the 80s, they could have done all those characters. At least we put them in a costume or something,
Yeah.
and you still could have had Orko. I mean, you still could have had the same characters. But yeah, I mean, it's the CGI was terrible with the lasers and lightning coming out of their hands, the dissipation, and then the just the makeup I thought was terrible. I mean, they could. I think even in the 80s they could have done a lot more. Shit, they did better in the 60s and the 20s. Shit, with the Mummy and Dracula and all the old Universal monsters in the 30s before they did this in the 80s. You know. So I think they could have done more. So I think it's a solid 2 for me. Dude, what you think?
It was a 1.
Solid 1.
It's a 1.
Absolutely. It's a 1.
All the way. It's a 1.
All the way.
It's a 1.
1.
I'm gonna give it a 3. Only because
hold on, you got to stand up.
I'm gonna give it a 3 because
2.5. 2.5.
It's not a He-Man movie, but it's so bad that it can be entertaining at times because it's so bad. 2.5. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, we were just saying you had a small penis. That's all we were saying.
No. I give it a 3 because I mean it has a decent cast, but it just can't. The cast can't make up for the bad direction and stuff that this movie took. Yeah. So I do have some facts for this movie.
The fact that it was terrible. That's one.
Yeah. Frank Langella went on record in an interview stating that playing Skeletor was one of his favorite roles.
I wonder if he still stands by that.
I have no idea. Mattel, which owned and produced the Masters of the Universe toy line, mandated early in production that He-Man could not kill anyone on screen, which is why Skeletor's troops are robots. And Skeletor's line, I'm not in the giving mood this day, comes from Shakespeare's Richard III. Also, a fun fact, this movie does have an end credit scene. It is Skeletor coming up out of the water saying, I'll be back. That's basically it.
What does he think he is? Arnold Schwarzenegger over here?
Yep.
I guess. But
this
that
was
is my
Terminator,
facts.
So yeah.
So this is my facts. Steve or dude. I don't know what to call you now.
Here's the soundtrack.
We have some soundtrack.
It's all by a dude named Bill Conti. Gwildor's Quildroll, main title Eternia Besieged, Skeletor the Destroyer, Evelyn's Deception, Transformation to Skeletor, Good Journey, He-Man Victorious end title, Process of the Mercenaries, The Power of Grayskull, He-Man Enslaved, Earthly Encounter.
Synthesizer. It was a bad storyline. The whole plot of this sucked. I hated the plot. It's not a freaking He-Man movie. They may have the same names, but it's
related reels.
Yeah, so let's go. Related reels. Frank Langella was Richard Nixon in Frosted Nixon, which is actually an excellent movie. He did a great job as Nixon. He was in the movie Dave and Eddie. So a lot of name title movies.
Frost Nixon, Dave, Eddie.
Frost Nixon, Dave, and Eddie. Yeah, it was very good. Dolph Lundgren. So we're gonna go with some of his older work. Rocky, of course.
If he dies, he dies.
He dies.
Rocky
Universal Soldier. And he was also in the recent Aquaman. Okay.
Oh yeah, he
and
was,
then,
wasn't
Well, he was in the
and-
original Aquaman.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's the first one. And then Billy Barty, which is probably one of my favorite characters in this movie. He was in Willow. He was in Legend. And then he was also in one of my favorite movies with Chevy Chase, Under the Rainbow.
He's also in UHF.
Oh, is he?
Apple Macintosh. I believe his name is Apple Macintosh.
I haven't watched that movie in so long. I need to watch it.
You should watch it. It's good. I'm thinking of something orange. Something orange. You know what it is? It's an orange.
Michael Richards.
It's funny.
That's funny.
Funny. Is that all you have for related reels, sir?
That is it. Yep, 3 people. That's it. That's all I got, Bo.
All right, man. Well, Steve, where can people find you on your podcast, sir?
The last podcast you'd want, Tip the Veal, Try the Staff. Thank you all for coming, and if you didn't, better luck next time.
Make sure you check out the Mod Squad Network, which is the sister channel of Back to the Retro Review. We have a movie show, a wrestling show, a gamer show, and a horror show, and we go live every Saturday night with a giveaway. All right, I do believe that does it for this episode of Back to the Retro Review. So, what the hell is going on?
We're trying to make this show a lot more entertaining than Masters of the Universe.
So for Mikey the Freak and Steve, I am the Bearded Geek saying thank you for being a friend, everybody.
Power!